Hetapu, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, Haru Nefer. This is Qesankh Kaparu with another video for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to use your first oracle cards. But before we get into that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. This is your first time to my channel. Welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. Also, we do have free ebooks for you. You can scroll down, click on those links, and download the ebooks today and start reading them. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can become a Patreon supporter. You'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on meditation, proper breathing exercise, how to work with spirits, summon the ancestors, how to do divination, and self-hypnosis to curb your overeating or maybe your smoking addiction. Now with Patreon, you can cancel at any time. There is no obligation. So become a supporter today. Last but not least, to share this video with family and friends. So Haru Nefer, let's talk about this great subject, which is basically working with your first oracle deck. Now, you want to go back and probably watch some other videos I've done on tarot cards and the Meduna Tear, because you should be picking a tarot deck where it is aesthetically pleasing to you in terms of the artwork, the iconography. So you just make sure that you pick a deck that kind of speaks to you. And there's so many decks you can check on Amazon. You can go to the Magical Supply Shop and they'll gladly take you on a tour of all of their decks that they have. Most are based on the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, but you will find that there's no shortage of decks. But what do you do when you get your first deck? How do you prepare and begin to do your reading? So let's cover that right here and now. I'm going to do it briefly because I just wanted to just show you some basic things that you should keep in mind. Remember, in magic, there's no set rules. It's all about how you feel. Does it resonate with you? Now, let's keep in mind there are some things we want to work on, is like, don't touch your oracle cards when you're in a very negative mood, you're angry, you're upset, you're sick, you're ill. That energy will rub off. Women, don't do oracle readings on your menstrual cycle. So just keep that in mind. So let's go to the decks and let's take a look at what we got here. All right, so we have two decks. We have the Meduna Tear, and then we have the Gilded Tarot. This is one of my favorite decks. So, you know, again, purchase the ones that you feel comfortable with. The artwork resonates with you. So let me just show you what this looks like here, right out of this box. So it's we've got some really interesting colors and things of that nature, and you'll probably see this in other videos that I've done where I show these cards because I really like how colorful they are. But let's get right into getting your first deck. Let's say you have selected your deck, and we've selected the Gilded Tarot, and we are going to open it right now. I have one that's unopened. So we'll just, and I'm doing this for a reason, you'll see. We're going to open this deck up, all right? And we would do the same thing with the Meduna Tear. This is one here. This is not open, so we would just open that up. And all these you can get on Amazon. Keep that in mind. Moving your paper. Goodbye, goodbye. And we're going to see if I can carefully open the box. And of course, you have your instructions, and then you have your deck. Always starting with the Fool. They're in order, of course. And we're going to slice that open very carefully. I'm going to show you some things too that you need to keep in mind. Now, okay, so what you'll notice is the deck comes in order. The Fool's Journey starts out. The Fool meets the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, and it goes through, that's the major arcana to the minor arcana. Okay, now the first thing we want to do in the Kemetic tradition is we want to clear the energy of our decks. They've been going through a factory or packaging plant. People have been touching them. So let's clear the energy. And the way we're going to do that with our decks is we're going to snap our fingers like this, and we're going to say the word Pa'at, Pa'at, and that will clear the energy. We do it 3 times. Pa'at, Pa'at, Pa'at. Great. So the energy is cleared. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to kind of mix the deck up. Now, what I used to do in terms of mixing the deck up, and this you can do with only certain decks, was just to, you know, kind of like that thing. But what it'll do on some decks is will scrape up the corners, and you don't want that. So another way of going about it is to just take the deck and do one of these things. When you're shuffling a deck, that card comes out. What is that card? Knight of Swords. Excellent. So we want to mix up our deck, and this is how we're going to do it as such. Okay, just to get the cards thoroughly mixed. Now, at this point, you can take your card and sit it on your altar. I usually do that for a couple of days so I can pick up the positive energy of my altar. And so you can do one of two things. You can wrap your deck in cloth and just keep it just like this, you know. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. And when you're ready to do a reading, you open it up and your deck is in there. Okay, and do it just like that. Or, which some people do, is you take your deck and just put it in a pouch. And then you close your pouch up and you put it away until you're ready to use it. And the color of your pouch is basically up to you. What color do you like, you know? For the Meduna deck, I really advise you use blue because that's the color of Ma'at and Tahuti. So try to get like a blue pouch or a blue cloth to wrap it in. All right. And when I'm not using the deck, I do wrap it in the cloth and I set it on my altar so it can just absorb that energy. And again, you don't do readings when you're angry, upset, sick, things of that nature, because you don't want the energy, because energy is transferred very easily. And it could really mess with your readings, and you just don't want that. So in conclusion, the Gilded Tarot and the Meduna Tarot are available on Amazon if you want to order them. That's basically it in terms of, you know, opening your first deck, cleansing it or clearing it of negative energy, doing pa'at, 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 and then putting it in the cloth and putting it in a pouch. And sometimes what I'll even do is I'll, like an amethyst, I'll put some stones in there with it to help charge it with the proper energy. Again, that's up to you if you want to do that. Everybody is different. So I hope this video has given you some great insight as to working with your first deck. And as you go along, you may collect many different decks because there's so many out there. You may see another deck that you like with some great artistry. Feel free to start collecting them and use them when you feel like it. There's some decks I'll use when I'm in the mood, other decks I'll use when I want a different type of reading or I'm in a different type of mood. So it's up to you. You don't have to just stick with one deck. You can use a multitude of decks. There are some tarot readers, friends of mine, who have about 150 decks, you know, and they toggle back and forth between different versions depending upon their mood. So that is totally up to you. Remember, magic is about, does it feel comfortable for you? If you're comfortable with it, it's going to work. If you don't feel comfortable, that means the energy is incongruent and there's going to be some issues. So keep that in mind. With that, this is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of Ma and Tahuti. My aunt is a beautiful goddess Teteru. Until my next video, Amen Ra.